Podcast, episode 44. We back.
This
How
the
y'all
Obama
doing?
episode. He was the 44th president, right?
Okay. Obama episode. No, it's not. A2TP Podcast. We back, episode 44. How y'all doing, people? We here. We back in the building. It's your boy, International Walt.
It's your girl Tosh, the co-hostess with the mostest.
Yep, she got the mostest, all right. This is A2TP Podcast. Again, you can check us out. Go to A2TPodcast.com. You can check us out on Breaker. You can check us out on Anchor. You can check us out on Google Podcasts. You can check us out on YouTube. And our clips are on IG. So get after it. Get at it. How are you?
Well, how are you today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good.
How are you?
I'm good. So, quick little breakdown. I'm an 8 today.
Mental?
My mental is an 8, struggling with some familial discourse. Is that a good description? But you know what? I have to give all praises and all praises due to God, because he gave me a husband that understands the assignment. He brings me flowers regularly. Right now, I'm just going to sprinkle a little,
I'll take it.
shine on you. He brings me flowers regularly. And, I'm always happy when he comes home from work. And, today I was happy and I was dancing. And it was unexpected. Not that I ever really expect them. Like, it's not like he brings flowers every Monday or Friday or any specific day. Today really caught me off guard. And they were the sunshine that I needed. And I'm grateful for you. So I'm an 8. I feel good.
Work
Work is
Where
an
we
8.
at with the work?
Work is an 8. It's a lot going on. But you know what? I have a new mindset where I feel like, my sis Toya said this, like, I'm gonna play my part and I'm gonna do what I need to do. But when it's time to show up, I'm gonna show up. So that's what it is. There's a lot of organizational restructuring, in the professional terminology, going on. So, I got a lot on my plate. I'm gonna just do what I do and do it to the best of my ability. So it's an 8.
Beautiful.
Doctor.
Gotta put you down for 8.
Yes. My
People,
finance.
get out there too. Get in the comments. Let us know what your things, what you're going through throughout the week. But what your mental is, what your work life is, what your finances is. We're gonna try to put that in the question box once a week for y'all to answer to, so we can see what's going on with y'all. I'd like to know that.
And not asking for like your account information.
No.
But,
We just want a number.
check-in.
Just like we giving y'all a number and a little elaboration. Just give us a number and a little elaboration. What's finances like?
My finances are 9.
Nina.
Yep.
Nueve.
I don't need anything. I may want a couple things, but I don't need anything.
Beautiful. All right, you're 889. You should play that number.
889.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Deduct the big 3.
Okay. How are you?
I'm good.
No. How are you? I have to get real
I'm good.
theatrical. What's your mental like?
Nueve.
Oh, that's a good. Oh, you did. Oh, you did. Okay, Nueve is good.
I did. What?
No, you did. I was tripping.
Relax. Like
Nueve is good.
Nueve. I'm good. Mental is sharp, focused, about to wrap this job up. Yeah, it's good.
So your mental revolves around.
My mental overall revolves around work, finances, and just the day to day.
Okay.
That's the mental.
All right. So what's your work looking like?
Work is like an 8, because work can be as good as the
As the mental?
Yeah, because shit could go awry, and it's the end of the job. People are,
He
trying.
been wearing his Rockports to work. Let you know. Let you know he ain't working real hard. When I see
ain't
him,
doing a fucking thing.
when I see him leave the house with sneakers on or Rockports, I know, he just being a boss today. I mean, he's the boss every day, but today he ain't participating in the physical activity. He just bossing when he wears Rockports.
I will take a shower, but don't need one when I get home.
What's your finances looking like?
Nueve.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Psych. Psych.
Oh,
No.
you played me on that.
Finances is 8.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not in Nueve, but they're 8. Yeah,
Okay.
got to get them back up to a 10, but they're 8. And 8 is a blessing. Thank you, God.
8 is definitely a blessing. So what's your wows and woes for this week?
My wows and woes is that
What you want to start with, the wow or the what? Or the woe or the wow?
I'm gonna start with the wow.
Okay.
D started his therapy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. So yeah, I'm happy for him. I'm allowed to share that, and I'm just happy for him. My man is devastated, heartbroken, and I want him to be all right. And he's starting his therapy today. He actually texted me and said it went well, and I'm not even gonna ask about it. Like it's something he should keep to himself.
If he wants to, he might want to share.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not gonna inquire about it. But I told him I'm glad he trusts the process, and shit hurts, but you're gonna feel better on the other side.
That's one of the misnomers that people have about therapy and healing. It's like, oh, I'm healing so I can feel better. It's gonna hurt before it feel good.
Yeah.
And you gotta go through it.
And it took me a lot to talk him into jumping on the healing train. A lot of talks, a lot of quotes I had to talk to him about, but he finally took the initiative. He had his first session, and I'm just happy and proud of that.
That's good. I'm happy for him too. What's your woe?
My woe is a little dark. My nana been dead for 12 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, it still bogs me down when I think about her.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard somebody say something like, you're gonna think about bad times, or when people leave every day, whether it be a spouse, your mother, your grandmother, your sibling, you're gonna think about that. The first thought you think about every morning, and the last thought you think about when you go to sleep. And then after a little bit, it'll be the second thing you think about. So I forget where I heard that, but it just stuck with me, and that's kind of where I'm at.
And then eventually it'll move its way down.
Yeah, like it'll be the second thing you think about, and then after time it'll be the third thing you think about, and so forth. And that's how it's supposed to work. Like it never goes away, but it's not in the forefront like it was, initially when it happened. So yeah, that's where I'm at. What's your wows?
My wow.
Give it to me.
I'm gonna say you are my wow.
Really?
Yeah.
I appreciate you, babe.
Like you really, you just really been there for me emotionally. You was there for me physically too. But just just stepping up and being my support system. Sometimes you give me tough love, which is needed. Sometimes you're just my, shoulder to cry on, or just my venting board. And I just appreciate you have gotten better, because you used to really give tough love all the time, and you've learned to soften some and use tough love when appropriate. You don't let people get into a sunken place without trying to climb out of it, and I appreciate that. Not that I was like headed to a sunken place, but I just appreciate you. Like you understood the assignment that God gave you as my husband, and I'm grateful. So you're my wow of the week.
I know you. We've been together 20 years, and there's some things I know affect you, and I'll let you process and work things out, quote unquote, sunken place, and go through shit. But there's some things that I just won't let you. This is some things that I don't think deserves your emotions like that. So I'll listen. You can vent to me, but I'm always gonna give you the real. And I hope that I can come from experience and a different perspective to give you a better decision.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you. My woe is just probably, the family drama. One of the things that I thought about this week, and I know you're not on Facebook, but I did post this on Facebook. So if you're my friend on Facebook, then you've probably seen this. But it really hit me because a lot of people always talk about breaking generational curses. And one of those things you think is, our parents' generation, they had that mentality of like, I ain't going to no therapist, I ain't telling nobody my business, blah, blah, blah. And you figure, I'm happy that our generation, we're in a different mental space. And it's one of, there are some good things that come from social media. I think social media has helped with that platform. Everybody may not agree, but I think it has helped it because it's kind of like that pack mentality and that not feeling alone, and oh well, these people who you look up to are talking about it, and it's access to more information. So long story short, I think our generation has started being okay and open
I would
to
just push
therapy.
back and just say the internet then. Not specifically social media, but go ahead.
But so many people go right. People go now to social media to look for information before they even go to Google.
But it encapsulates that.
Yeah.
The internet.
Okay. So breaking generational curses. Our generation is going to therapy, and it's a good thing, and we should empower our children, if needed. That is something that's a part of your well-being. You get your coochie check if you're a woman, you get your prostate check at a certain age if a man, your colonoscopy, your mammogram, your immunizations if you believe in that, your flu shot, all that kind of stuff you do for your physical well-being. I think therapy should be incorporated into that for your mental wellness, your emotional fitness. But here's the caveat that comes with that breaking generational curses. We have to create an environment where, yes, we do empower our children and the next generation to continue seeking therapy, but we also have to make sure that they don't need therapy for the same shit that we get in therapy for.
Well, I understand that because their therapy, I think, is going to be worse because they're going to need therapy from social media.
Well, but that's I'm talking.
Our parents had that kind of mindset, and we grew up with them not explaining to us that our fucked up childhoods will have baggage when you get older, the baggage that we have, the shit that we go to therapy for. So our kids, or this generation of kids, didn't grow up like we did. So they're growing up with a little bit more exposure because they have the internet to the information that you're talking about. The mental health, they see that their friends at a young age, 13, 14,
hopefully,
or 7, yeah. So there's some my friend has mental health issues, so they're seeing it up close, and I think they're just going to have a different type of mental health issue when they get older, as far as the likes and the comments and what people said about them, and social cues, because the internet is taking away, meeting in person and things like that, and talking in person and picking up on social cues. So that's stuff that I think 13 and 14-year-olds go through today that's going to affect them when they're 30.
Right, but I'm talking about on a more personal level, not in general. I'm saying if you are a person in your family who is, focused on breaking those generational curses, the part of that focus should be making sure that your children don't need therapy to heal from the same stuff that you're trying to heal from.
Right, but we're healing from shit of, Uncle Pete was touching kids and he in the back. Right,
so of course they're going to have a different set of problems, but I'm talking about up close. But for some people, it may be. It is. If for those people who may be in our generation who still isn't getting the help and they're doing the same thing to their kids that was done to them, unfortunately for them, that will be, you're not breaking anything, you're continuing the pattern. So that's what I'm saying. In breaking generational curses, let's not just focus on teaching our kids that therapy is a good thing, but let's also break the cycle.
Teach them why therapy is a good thing and teach them why they would need therapy. Like have them
but the focus is not the therapy piece. The focus is breaking the family dysfunctional piece, so that when they do get therapy for whatever they need it for
whatever family dysfunction piece it is, whether it be some deep dark shit or something on the surface, like if you.
But no, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully, they won't have any family dysfunction. That's the point that I'm trying to make. That they will need therapy for other stuff, but break the cycle of family dysfunction.
I know, but for the sake of the conversation, there's going to be that. There's going to be family dysfunction.
I'm trying to encourage.
You're using words like hopefully. Like, I understand, hopefully, there won't be none, but there is going to be some. And then hopefully not to the degree that we grew up on, where it was super intense and we got beatings and there's molestation and all that kind of shit involved. Now, there's going to be some of that, but because our group told our kids, our nieces and nephews and sons and daughters that, this is how we grew up. It's going to be some, but it's not going to be to the degree that we had it. But there's going to be some, baby.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I don't think it has to be in every family.
No, I'm not saying in every family. I'm just saying out of the sheer numbers, there's not, every family is not going to say, let's break a dysfunctional curse. Like you said, there's some families out there who still want to treat their kids how their parents treated them.
Right. What my focus is, my statement was focusing on the people that are focused on breaking those generational curses, breaking the generational cycles of dysfunction. So, and while we're encouraging our children to get therapy and to seek help, stop the reasons that we needed help from being passed down to them.
I agree. I know we got that straight. Astro World.
Oh.
8 people killed in Houston. Surged the stage. People struggled to stand straight. There was a report of somebody getting stuck. People getting stuck in the neck with a needle with fentanyl.
Wow.
There was a lot of people reporting that they felt pricks in the neck. The victims was from 14 to 27, and there's a 10-year-old in a coma for being trampled over.
Yeah, I heard that I don't know if they were brothers or father and son, but he was on the shoulders of somebody that got smashed, and that person couldn't breathe and collapsed. So you got somebody on your shoulder, you collapse, that person falls, and he got trampled.
There was also a video of a white girl that was climbing up on a stage trying to tell a producer, a cameraman, that there's somebody dead down there, like screaming at him. There's somebody dead down there. And because the act was still performing, I don't know if it was Travis Scott at that time, because I don't think he was the only one there. But the act was still performing.
No, because Drake was there.
Yeah, the act was still performing, and the guy had to keep the shot. So he was kind of listening at the lady and listening and trying to, have his job done.
It's loud. It's a concert.
Yeah, but I heard her. I mean, she was screaming to the top of her lungs that stop, somebody's dead down there. She said it like 3 times. But
but you got to think too. You heard her in hindsight because you read the story, so you know what to be listening for, rather than a cameraman in a concert in the heat of the moment where there may not have been any context. You know what I mean?
I don't know if he heard her or not, but even if he did, like I said, he was trying to.
Can you imagine her trauma?
Yeah, he was still trying to do what he was supposed to do, and just thinking, okay, maybe you're just trying to interrupt what I'm doing. Like, I don't know.
Because that probably was such a far-fetched
Yeah, something
thought.
Hard to process. Like, is somebody dead down there? It's like, almost
what?
like, what am I supposed to do?
It's a shame because we live in such a litigious country.
But this was in Houston, and these festivals that's a problem when you got hundreds of thousands of people for 2 days.
But so we live in such a litigious country where everybody tries to sue for everything, and it's horrible. It's a horrible thing that happened. It's not the performer's fault. You figure one, I would look at ticket sales. What was it? Was this an outdoor venue?
Mm-hmm. We're talking about a few hundred, like it's a 2-day event. So
it's
sometimes
like
it's 50,
Woodstock
60.
or something?
I might be inflating the numbers, but 50, 60, 70,000 people in one area. So that's the problem. And this is my opinion, it's not solely the performer's fault. But when you have a Travis Scott who is known for raging at his shows and creating that type of energy and being quoted on the microphone, not knowing that there's people dead down there, but being quoted on the microphone as saying, let's make the ground shake. I want to see some rages. I want to see some mosh pits. Like, let's rage out. Quoted saying this stuff on the microphone. It kind of, now that doesn't have an effect on some asshole walking around pricking people in the neck with fentanyl.
I heard a security guard got...
Yeah, as he was trying to help somebody, he felt a prick in the neck. And then when the ambulance examined him, he had a fucking prick in his neck. But, like, that kind of shit is at them festivals, like...
So my thought is, so I hear what you're saying, and the performer, because
Hold on, and before you make your point, like, I don't think that's something the fire marshal can control. And I know, like, in venues... the ticket sales matter.
That's why I asked.
Because it's like, okay, if it's a closed event, 10,000 people can fit in here. That's it. You can't sell 15,000 tickets. So the fire marshal can't control shit like that in an area. I don't think. I don't think.
That you kind of wrapped my mind and answered my question. That's why I asked, was it outdoors or indoors? It being outdoors, can they say, and I'm just going to use this desk, if there's a venue that's this size, okay, if you calculate person per square foot, does that make sense?
I don't know if that's how they do it.
But but I'm saying, can a person fit in a square foot?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know, but I'm just saying, if they do calculate and say, okay, person per square foot within this size space, this is how many people can be in this space. I don't, but if you don't know, then I hell of a sure don't know about fire marshal and capacity and that kind of thing. But I think it would make sense if there were some kind of regulations, because if that's not the case, if it's a space that when you look at it and it's like, this desk is the field and we can fit 500 people here, but like literally side by side, back to back, 500 people, but we sold 5,000 tickets. You would think there has to be some kind of
regulation,
capacity regulation.
Yeah. And also, it brings me back to thinking about, isn't there COVID? Like, why are we having these festivals where we're jamming 60,000 people, no mask, you know what I mean, in an area?
You said it was Texas.
Yeah, that's true.
They ain't cared. Texas and Florida ain't cared about
that's
COVID.
True. It was Houston.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, people fly in for this. People come from all over the country, so they're gonna fly back out to the, out of the fucking state. It's not like everybody is from Texas, but still, it's COVID out there. It's people still getting sick, people dying.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're still pushing the vaccine, all that kind of shit. But you can do a festival for 2 fucking days where, in 2 days, 100,000 people come in, 50 the first day, 50 the next day.
So this is what I don't understand, because when we talk about COVID, we talk about vaccinations, we talk about
people sharing drugs and
but
shit
we
like
talk
that.
about federal regulations and stuff like that. If the president, I don't want to just say the government, I'm going to say the president issues an executive order that says, and my company is one of them, and they're trying to figure out the, logistics behind it. But if the president can issue an executive order saying, this is what needs to happen with vaccinations, like all people within this company need to be vaccinated, and they can make that kind of statement, they can make that kind of ruling, why can't the president say no gatherings are allowed? Like, why can't there be stipulations made like that to say you cannot do this?
We know the president can't just do shit by itself. Like, that's another thing, how people think the president can just do shit.
Yeah,
like,
you need the backing of senators and all
to
that
say
stuff.
yes for him to do one thing. So him wanting to do shit Tuesday could take 3 fucking months to get 100 people on the same page. Like, the whole democracy thing is all fucked up when it comes to that kind of chain of command. Like, he can't just say, okay, I'm going to call a press conference, this is what it is, even if he got to sign something on the news or in front of people, whatever, but this is what it is. It ain't that here. It's the other way.
It ain't one way.
No,
it's the other way. Do you think that it is fair for people to, or for Travis to be held liable for people losing their lives?
What's sad to say?
Let me add this caveat. Or do you think that the promoters or whomever?
I think everybody has to take accountability. There's always one person to blame, but I think everybody has to take accountability when people die. I think that's the ultimate price. And just like he's doing now, paying for funerals, getting in front of stuff, and cooperating, doing what he is on his heart, like, I think that helps the situation. But do I think he's solely responsible? No. But do I think he's not responsible at all? No. Because
so you think he should be required to pay these lawsuits?
I don't know about paying. I think what he's doing is good right now. I think
but people are suing him.
I know, and Drake and everybody else. I get all that, but you got to see how that plays out. And again, somebody died. People died. Like, family members were lost. So, and we talking about from 14 to 27. We're talking about young people. Like, that's a problem.
So let me ask this, and I don't want to be I'm not being insensitive. Just for the sake of the conversation, you said somebody always has to be held accountable. Do you not think or feel that those individuals who bought the tickets or those individuals who attended, they are accountable for themselves?
Yeah, that's why I said everybody. So, I mean, you're grown, you bought the ticket, but now some people bought 9-year-olds there. That's a fucking problem.
Then a parent.
And again, you have to be held if you're on the microphone saying, let's rage out, let's make the ground shake, I want to see craziness, you're provoking or inciting the the chaotic madness. So you have to take your part in that. Are you responsible for somebody sticking somebody in the fucking neck with needles?
No, not that part. No.
Not at all. But so I don't know what the right thing is, but I think just not running from it, saying how he felt, getting a video out like that, reaching out to the families and paying for funerals, like that's just the bare minimum that you can do instead of just, oh, I'm not responsible. Because you don't want to be that artist.
Right.
To be like, I'm taking this stance of I ain't responsible. Like, people died, bro. Like, you take that kind of stance, they're going to come after you. You know, and you will be paying out lawsuits.
Yeah. It's a tough situation. And again, you know, condolences to those who lost family members. It's a horrible situation to think you woke up that morning, you probably planned all week, you woke up that morning, you know, and you excited about going to a concert. Who would have ever thought that would be your dying place?
And
buying those tickets. Whoever thought that would be or your child's dying place? If you know that's
what if they begged you to
them?
go to that concert? I mean, it was a 2-day event, but more than that, somebody walking around sticking people in the neck with fentanyl.
You know, like,
what the fuck is that about?
You know what that reminded me of? This world is crazy. On, I don't know if it was TikTok or Instagram, one of those, I think it might have been anyway, it was this video, well, it was several videos of this person who was walking around. They were on live, and this must have been a thing that he did because people was telling him to do it. Remember I showed you he was walking around macing people?
Yeah.
So it makes me think there are some people, because
he was like Town Watch or some shit.
Yeah, like these people had to show up. I mean, and those the hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of people, I'm sure it wasn't just one person pricking people. They had to show up with this fentanyl, and they, I would think, are not drug users, because drug users ain't giving away their drugs. So you had to show up with this mindset to do something so cruel and hateful to people. Like,
yeah, there was people who got reported of being pricked in the side, in the thigh, in the neck. You
could kill people. All these conversations they have about fentanyl, like, you could kill people.
Where the tip of a grain of rice can kill a person. So, you know, you
can infect people with AIDS. Like, who knows what they're doing?
Hepatitis, like all kinds of shit. That's some evil shit to set out to be like, yo, I'm going to this concert and I'm going to fill a vial of fentanyl in a needle and just stick people.
That's horrible.
Like, you should be fucking, like, you should be skinned at the concert. Like, they should catch you and skin you.
That's horrible. And you think to yourself, we go to a basketball game, I couldn't even bring my pocketbook in because it wasn't this big, but here we are, people are bringing in vials of drugs into a concert with malicious intent. Like, this world is crazy. And
just the type of person to think up some shit like that, like fentanyl, you're gonna put in a needle and stick, like, you know, you have intent to kill people. That's serial killer shit.
Exactly, because you don't know who would die from it.
Like, where do you live, under a rock that you don't know that shit kills people?
That's
and
crazy.
You just sticking people with it at a concert. Like, you should get attempted murder on 50,000 people.
Yeah, and you know, I'm sure they were not of the brown hue doing things like that. Like, that's just not anything that we would do. They probably,
I don't know that, but I would agree with her.
They probably were lacking melanin.
But just for the record, where we stand on Act 2 the podcast, we don't know that.
We don't.
But I agree.
That's my thought, my opinion. I don't know.
I agree with her thought and opinion. Henry Ruggs III plays for, he played for the, I want to call them Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders. That's hard to get out.
Are they just called the Vegas Raiders?
No,
they say the
Las
whole
Vegas,
name.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's facing up to 50 years. He was driving a Corvette 156 miles an hour. He had twice the legal limit of alcohol in him. A handgun that wasn't registered. And in Nevada, they got some of the strictest DUI laws that is in the country, where they are non-probational. So everybody that has a DUI in Nevada goes to jail. You can't get probation for DUI in Nevada. He made $150,000 bail, out on house arrest. Can't have no alcohol. How fucking obvious is that? Can't drive. How obvious is that? Tested 4 times a day for alcohol. Like, that's like you're drunk or something. And he had to give up his passport. But Henry Ruggs III, 23 years old, football career over. I think the 12th pick in the draft, his slot was like $7 million.
Let's not also forget that the life of the 23-year-old, or was she 23?
She was 23 years old,
that
and her dog. Don't forget her
over.
dog.
Yeah.
Don't forget her dog.
You know, I feel like drunk driving is one of the stupidest things that people can do. And let me say this. We have been there. You know, those who know us are in our close circle.
And we're talking 20 years ago.
Yeah. Well, probably like 17, but yeah. The people know we don't drink alcohol. You know, we ain't no saints. As you see, Mr. Tree Man over here.
I got a medical condition. I do. I have a doctor and everything. It's so funny.
You got a medical condition?
3 of them.
I mean, I know, but that's why you smoke?
Yes.
So you ain't smoked before your medical condition?
Yeah, but it wasn't diagnosed. Now that it's diagnosed, there's treatment for it.
Okay. So, as I was saying, we don't drink alcohol. We used to. And I'm going to tell you this, too. I remember I stopped drinking before he did. I had a bad experience where I just went too far. And it was a bad experience. But not only that, like literally 2 months later, I had a medical accident. I had surgery where I literally almost died. So it kind of aligned that, you know, the decision was already made not to drink. 2 months later, God was like, just in case you think about changing your mind. So nevertheless.
Shout out to Dr. D.
Not a shout out to, yeah. Nevertheless, you know, time went on and he still used to drink. And don't get me wrong, we weren't no fall over drunk.
I tried to drink.
I
tried to get into alcohol, y'all.
He
tried. What kind of dumb shit is that?
But that was before this. Cause that's
what if I had like a hole in my leg?
I know, but let me tell y'all.
What if I had a drunk great-grandfather?
He tried okay. I used to come home from work and he would have a 12-pack of Coronas. Like, this was new. Like, when I tell you, it's like today me saying, I think I want to smoke cigarettes. I'm going to just start buying cigarettes and smoking them.
It was that thing of like you want to keep some beer in the house because, you know, in case you have somebody
come over.
But
even when we drank, we never drunk beer. But he just decided, hey, I'm going to go pick up a 12-pack and I'm going to just, you know, have a couple beers after work. And it was weird. And I would even go pick him up. Like, sometimes, you know, he'd be like, on the way home from the market, can you stop past and grab me, you know, a case of Coronas? Okay, fine. I'm sorry. Okay, fine. He tried to drink. One day, I remember coming home, and I had enough. Because, one, I don't like the smell of beer. And I just didn't like what it was doing to him. Like, he wasn't, like, becoming irate or anything. But it would be like, I come home from work, he sleep because he drunk before dinner. So I remember one day coming home, he stretched out in the recliner, beer in the hand, he's snoring, and I'm just looking like.
It was like 5:30.
I was like, I don't like this. Like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what. This decision is not a good one. I don't like it.
Nah,
like, stop.
She was right.
And he stopped. Like, that wasn't for me.
1 Corona, I'm drunk. 2 Coronas, I might pee on myself. Like, that's
and
how bad I don't hold alcohol.
2 months,
yeah,
if that long. Okay.
It was like a summer.
Yeah. All right, so let's circle back. We used to drink. I stopped. He was still drinking. And when we would go out, we would have shots or something. We would like a martini, a fancy drink or something. No serious drinkers. At the most, we would have like 2 drinks at a piece during dinner. But that was like the most. So I'll never forget the last time he had a drink. We driving home. And at this time, I had already stopped drinking. He had a couple drinks. And I remember him driving and he leaning over. And he said to me, I ain't drinking no more. And the crazy thing was, he has always been a smoker. He never really was a drinker anyway. He's like, I ain't drinking no more. So I'm like, well, he like, I just feel like if somebody tried to do something to us right now, I couldn't protect you. And I don't like this feeling. I ain't drinking no more. And that was it. And that was what, like 2010? Because I stopped in 2009.
Yeah.
So that was like 2010. And that's been that. He don't drink.
Yeah, I don't consume alcohol at all. That's just one of like, you know, I'm a man and men stand on certain qualities individually in their life, and that's just one of mine. I do not consume alcohol.
So I say all that to say we ain't no angels. We have drank before. That night he was drunk and he was driving us home. Like we've been, you know, we've sipped and drank. But I feel like as you get older and you realize, like, I thank God that we made it home the nights that we have. Even if I had gone out, you know, with my girlfriends or whatever, and might have had a drink or something, you know, years ago. And like, I just thank God that we never were in a situation where we hurt somebody or hurt ourselves. Fast forward to this day and age, I think it's the stupidest thing you can do. Like literally, how long have we been learning about drinking and driving?
Yeah, it's been a
like
thing.
How long? It's like not wearing your
kids.
seatbelt.
Yeah, it's been a thing since we were little kids. I have sympathy for Henry Ruggs III because he's in the situation he's in, and he's 23 years old and he's young, and not knowing what he got himself into, not having people around him to be like, yo, give me them keys. We ain't, you know, you the ticket. Like we're not driving to the club. We're not driving home from the club. Like you gotta set some good people around you to do stuff like that. And I have sympathy, and my condolences go out to the woman who was killed and her dog, because her family didn't deserve that. I mean, he was driving 156 miles per hour, and at the impact, he hit her car at 123 miles an hour. So he tried to slow down, but you know, to what avail? And then
your depth perception is off when you're drunk.
And when you see the video, the car comes through like a goddamn train, like it's in fast forward or something. But again, when you going that fast, it's like, phew. So I say all that to say, I agree with my wife. That's probably one of the dumbest, stupidest things that you can do in this day and age is get behind a wheel and drive drunk. So I feel for him because he in the situation. I feel for that family. But man, that's a stupid ass decision that you gotta live with. The dumbest fucking thing you could do being a regular Joe or an NFL star is drive drunk and do some dumb shit like that. You could hurt yourself, kill somebody, fuck some family up. Like, it's just one of the dumbest things you can do. Uber, Lyft, car services, like those dudes have every resource at their fingertips not to do some shit like that.
Right.
Not to do some shit like that. So when you take it upon yourself to go out, have 6, 7 drinks, and you want to take a girl home, this is the kind of shit that happens. This is why they have those symposiums. This is why you have MADD, you know.
Mothers
like this is why you have these organizations that have been around for years, because they lost people. They're a part of that community where a drunk driver killed a loved one of theirs. And it's fucked up. It's fucked up for
and you know what? You made my heart soften just a little bit. I do have a little bit of sympathy for him because, you know, his life is ruined too. Mm-hmm. And I know, despite the stupid decision that he made, he didn't intentionally go out to kill anybody.
No,
so his life is ruined. His family's life is also ruined because now they lose his son. You know, I do have a little sympathy for him too. But, you know, just to think that woman who was killed, her dog that was killed, and all of the people that have been victims of drunk drivers, it's one of those things that's such an avoidable accident. Like it's so avoidable to do. Like you said, with Uber, Lyft, with hopefully friends and family that are in your circle, but even still with Uber, with Lyft,
car service, those guys have all. If they don't want to take Uber or Lyft because they're millionaires, they have access to car services and shit that they can call. Suburbans and all that shit can come pick them up. So yeah, it's just a fuck, and it's like an accountability thing. Like, yeah, we know you didn't get up and intend for this to happen. We know when you left the club, you didn't intend to kill nobody. Like, that wasn't on your heart, but it happened, bro. It happened. And when somebody died, somebody else, it's some accountability. And it just so happened that you're in a state where, you know, that's not a state where you see a person get 2, 3, 4 DUIs. No, you get 2 DUIs in Nevada, you get 10 years. Like, that shit is stiff over there. So no matter what, that's a felony charge. Without the vehicular, the homicide and the speeds and all that kind, the gun and all that kind of shit. Like, it's just crazy. He facing 46 years.
Wow.
Like 46 years.
Well, you killed the person. I mean, I understand it was an accident, but you killed the person.
And that's what I mean. If somebody didn't die, it's a whole different story. It's bad, but it's a whole different story. But when somebody dies, when a family is wrecked like that, people pay.
Yeah.
People will pay.
Yeah.
Kanye interview. Let's get into it.
You want to go or you want me to go?
My opinion is, well, it's gonna be a minute. Kanye, I think, to me is a genius, and I think you have to kind of me. This is just me. I have to turn my mind off in the way that I think to listen to him and give him the room to say what he wants to say, and then I follow it, which is why I'm glad I watched it twice, because you can't watch something like that once where he's like this and pick up everything he said. So me watching it twice, it gave me a better perspective on the shit he was saying. And talking about his brain and the way it works, how it's a Xerox machine, like it's true in his cadence and his vernacular and how he speaks. So the first hour of him talking about life and the world and shit like that, like that's a lot of game that a lot of people probably just didn't get and think, oh, he just doing his yay thing. He just doing his yay thing. Then when people get into the industry part of it, then it's like, okay, let's pay attention to that because that's the gossip and that's what's on. But in the beginning, like, I like the whole interview, but that's like the best part is when he's talking about the shit that he's been exposed to that we probably haven't. To a guy being worth $9 billion and in the room with all these people and being in the places that he's been in, he's just been exposed to a lot more. Even when he slipped and said in the interview how he got canceled for saying women shouldn't have abortions, and the dude in Texas wasn't wrong, and he just like kind of breezed through that. But him saying that, you know, they want abortion clinics and Plan B to be in black neighborhoods, but when you go in white neighborhoods, what do you see? It's fertility clinics. So they're promoting white people to have more kids and stop the growth of black babies in black neighborhoods. Like, that's just something that slipped by people. And it's like, that's true shit. But who thinks about that? But that's real true shit. But you wouldn't think that if you couldn't stop the way you think and cut it off and just listen to his perspective and everything that he's saying. And then the industry shit with the shots thrown, that's just fun. Like, that was just fun. That's just banter. I don't think it's necessarily beef with somebody if you speak in the truth. Like, it's refreshing to me to see somebody like that, like, just remind people of who they are. Like, some people need to be celebrated, and I'm not the biggest fan of Kanye, but I do like him, and I don't have no problem with him telling people who he is and what he's done, because he's changed music, the way we listen to it, the way it's produced, forever, and he should have credit for that. And, you know, maybe it's a little aggressive to say some people copied off you and shit like that, but it is what it is. It is what it is, and I don't have no problem with him speaking the truth, not in a malicious way. It's just, it is what it is. This is the way. Even in the interview, him saying, like, I can't count that good, like, I can't read that well, but this other stuff, I'm a genius at. You know what I'm saying? Like, saying that I can compete with Drake on a high level, and then can compete with the other dude, Virgil, in fashion. Like, he's the one person who can do that. And I think just reminding people of who he is I fuck with him. Your thoughts?
I loved every part of the interview and getting a chance to see how his mind works. I think he is extremely intellectual. I think that he exuded so much confidence that could be possibly mistaken as ego, but so what? Like, if believing in yourself was a person, he is it.
The epitome of it.
He is it, and I see nothing wrong with that. And he doesn't even have like a humble greatness to him. The modesty, the humility goes out the window, but he can stand on that because he's done great things. Now, I will say, after college dropout, college
His
dropout.
first 5 albums was classics. It was College Dropout, Late Registration.
Stop right. That's all for me. Like,
okay.
I never really. I mean, I probably know some radio hits, but I didn't know that he had as many. I kind of remember like, oh, he's coming out, and it would always be a big deal, but I never really got into
the first
his
5.
albums.
The last one was my Twisted Dark Fantasy. That's when I kind of stopped listening to him until Watch the Throne. Then
Watch the Throne is one of my favorite albums.
A non-skip album.
I wasn't even thinking of him.
But that's his production. That's his raps. Like, that's him and Jay doing that.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite albums. But I will say, the interview itself, just listening to him, the points that he made about society, about finances, about his family values.
How much he loved his wife. And
like,
how much
I enjoy all of that. What I will say is, I hope that he has people in his corner, because let's not forget, it wasn't just rumors or things like that about his mental status. And he even said himself, in terms of Drake dating him,
battles,
but he said, somebody keeps going and going and going, and then you end up in the hospital and they wondering why. So he knows that things can trigger him. So there's some psychological things there, and he's aware of that. But I hope that the people in his circle just are monitoring him to make sure, because to me, it kind of gave a feeling of like shock, as if someone was like in a manic state, which doesn't mean that's a bad thing. It doesn't mean that he's not speaking the truth. It doesn't mean that, he's not saying valuable things, but it was just like a little bit on the edge of being in a manic state. Maybe he took his medicine, and when he doesn't take his medicine, he's different. I don't know him. I don't know him in any other environment to gauge where he was compared to before or after.
Mm-hmm.
But I just hope that he has people around him that truly, genuinely loves him and wants him to be well. Not wants him to be rich, not wants him to, be a headline, not wants him to help support their career, not want him to, for clout, but truly cares about his well-being and just, checks on him, make sure he's okay. I think so many, like you said, it was so many important things that he said that people miss, because he is one of those people that when you see his name, because of the other events that have happened, it's looked at for shock value. They're looking for clickbait. They're looking for that moment. They're looking for that viral moment to see, like, I knew something was going to happen. I knew he was going to flip out. I knew he was going to diss Jay-Z. I knew he was going. But when you hear him speak very lucidly, and he gives respect where respect is due, and he doesn't cross boundaries, but he's just being completely honest without a filter. And he probably was filtered in some small capacity. Like, I'm sure he could have said more, but he probably was filtered. I loved every bit of it. And
also, it's the platform. Like, you got to give shouts out to Nori for having that platform and him feeling comfortable like that. I mean, we saw Ye take 8 shots of Hennessy, like, and smoke the joint. Like,
but see, to me too, that was part of the manic part, the mania that I think was because it was like one of those things where you just like throw caution to the wind and do whatever.
Because I know him to be, well, not know him, but I know of him to be very guarded. So when he is in a situation like that, you can clearly see, okay, his guard is down. He's laughing. He's smiling, like he's talking, like he's enjoying the moment. He's present in the moment. And I think that's Nori. Like, that's just being in that environment where it feels cool. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's joking. Like, nobody's with the serious shit. And he just let down.
But he showed a little bit of, like, when he talked about his family, and then towards the end, he's one of them people that is like,
fuck that nanny and fuck that.
Like, he went back to it, and it was like, it was brewing inside of him, and he has, I know he had, the wired jaw wired and stuff like that, but he has this look, and I compare it to when you say like something's bothering me. He always can tell when I'm mad, no matter if I try to lie or something. Like my top lip swells up. I don't know what it looks like. I can't see it. I can't feel it. But other people have told me this too. One of my bosses was like, "Your lip does this thing when you get upset. It's so embarrassing. I mean, kind of embarrassing, but
it's childlike. That's why
it's literally like I'm trying to hold words in my mouth, but they're swelling up in the top of my lip. I don't know what it looks like, but he'll be like, your lip, I can tell. I kind of compare that to Kanye. Even though he had his jaw wired, he still gets this tightness in his jaw.
Yeah, once your jaw is broke,
visible.
50 Cent, it's the same thing.
But you see it, but you really see it when it's so. To me, it was like looking at his face. It got tighter. And then it was like, I can't hold you no more. Yeah, and I want to tell you why I want that nanny. Yeah. And it was like, whoa, like we were talking about Yeezy boots or something.
Yeah, and it's also, and I'm just to give credit where credit is due, the skill of interviewing. And everybody might not think Nori is good, but when you write down, when you say I got Kanye coming in and you write down shit you want to ask him, right? And then he starts his thing, what he did, and starts to go off. You got to defer from what you wrote down because he's not an interviewee that you can stop in thought to ask the next question. That's limiting the interview. That's not giving you the best interview. So once he starts that, you as the interviewer has to be like, you know what? Fuck what I wrote down. Let me sit back and just let you talk, because I'm going to get the best interview by doing that. That's just a skill set that I would like to acquire. In interviewing people as I grow. Like, that's just a hell of a skill set to know when, even when you under the influence of alcohol, to know when to shut the fuck up and just, hold up, I got something here. Fuck my 10 or 15 questions I got. Like, that shit is going to get answered by him just talking. Like, I don't even have to be like, yo, let me get this off. Like, no, because he'll feel limit. He'll look tight-lipped like you sitting there, like, then he won't feel all loose and cool to be able to just go into shit. Yeah. Like, it was crazy. I loved it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. It was a good time.
What's your beef? My beef, again, is just the murders in my city, people. We from Philadelphia. You know, we live in another state, but we were born and raised in Philly. And the murders in my city is just, it's terrible. People are getting shot. Women are getting shot. Kids are getting shot. Mother of 6 was killed. 2 women were shot in a speakeasy. A 56-year-old lady, a 31-year-old lady. A body on 12th and York was just chilling on the corner. Like, I don't know who loved one that is, but, and then there was a body on Germantown and Wyndham. Like, it's they said on the internet that the 911 app this week has been the worst it's ever been. And I guess that's why all this shit is going around. But there's just been bodies all over the city. So that's my beef. We got to stop with the murders in Philly. The shit's getting out of hand. It's like Chicago. It's like Iraq, whatever y'all want to call it, Chirac, whatever. But it's getting out of hand. And a lot of families is losing loved ones. And we got to chill with the murders. I don't know what's the solution for that, but we got to stop with the murders. Like random murders. Like, everybody got guns and everybody will shoot you. The incident that we had down in the glasses store scared the shit out of me. And it's like, you want to just have a gun on you now because, like, what the fuck? Like, she going to go buy eyeglasses and we walk into a store. I'm not going to tell you what a store is, but we walk into a store that's very small and it's one way in and one way out. And we're standing in the back of the store with this one white guy who's selling glasses and doing all the business. And just me on my shit, because that's where I'm from. I'm watching and she's doing her thing. And she's, babe, you like this, babe, you like this. And then this dude just comes in, shady as hell, quiet, acting like he knows the guy. And now instantly I'm looking at his waist and what's the second way out here? And like, okay, that's the only door out. And I'm looking at his waist and looking at his hoodie and all this kind of shit. And then he does some shady shit like, oh, I want you to take care of a pair of glasses. I left them in the car. Like, motherfucker, you knew you was coming in the glasses store. Why you leave your glasses in the car? So that automatically just ding, 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 ding. Like, he going to go get a gun. He about to rob the glasses store. So now we trapped in the glasses store. I move to the front door. She's at the counter. He comes back in, looking weird, goes in the back of the store. And it's just us four in the store, looking weird. And it was like, that was the one time since years ago that I wish I had a gun on me, just to protect us in case this clown tried to rob the guy who's selling glasses. Or I'm telling her, what if he would have pulled the gun and blew his head off? She talking about I would have laid down and said I didn't see nothing. Like,
well, I mean, that was all conjecture. We don't know if that man was going to do anything. But what we do know is that these people was going to try and carjack me. I thought that's the story he was going to tell. They were. You're laughing, but that's another thing we've been hearing about increasing in the city. So this, I'm going to tell y'all real quick.
I'm laughing because I don't want to cry.
No, but you feel, I don't want you to cry either, but it was a crazy situation. We get out the car, we walking down the street, he's going to pay the parking meter. It was like halfway down the block. So, he's walking ahead and I start going, but then I forgot my mask. I forgot my phone too. I didn't even realize I forgot my phone, but I forgot my mask. So I turn around, I go back to the passenger side, open the door, my mask and the phone is in the door. Car pulls up. Roll the window down like this. Yo, sis, you leaving?
So, I'm paying for parking.
And he's it's weird because the parking thing was so far down the block. And so I'm like, no, I forgot my phone or whatever in the car. Grab it, shut the door. He like, oh, all right. And I think I see people in the back, but I didn't see anybody next to him. Okay. He like, oh, all right. And it's a car in front of us. And in front of that, it's a huge parking spot. Like, later on, we came back. There was a Suburban parked in that spot. So it was a huge, and this was like a Jeep Cherokee. So looking, and he like, all right, and he pulled off and he goes real slow and he keeps going. So I'm like, why didn't he park in that parking spot? Why did he ask me, was I leaving? But let me tell you, ladies that are watching this, and gentlemen, because I don't know people that be getting carjacked, if it's men or women, but especially ladies, because people look at us as prey. We have to be careful, because just think about this situation. If I was, let's say, going to put something in the passenger seat, right, or in the back seat, because he didn't initially know what door I was going to, because he pulled up as I was coming to the side of the car. So if I was going to put something in the car and say, yeah, I'm leaving, and then walked around to the driver's side to get in, you know how fast the people in the back of his car could have jumped in my car as I'm walking around again and thinking that, okay, I'm about to pull out this parking spot for them to park, and they jump in the car and they either tell me to drive somewhere or put a gun to me and tell me to get out, whatever, however that would have happened. Like, it just could have happened so fast. And I ain't been in the streets gangbanging or nothing like that, but I got some street smarts. And I know when the situation don't feel right, don't look right, don't sit right with me. And I know for sure that it was something fishy about that. So, ladies, if y'all are watching this, be careful. And the crazy thing is, this was broad daylight. But again, thinking street smarts, of course it was broad daylight. People are more in tune and watching their back at night. In broad daylight, somebody asks you if you leave in a parking spot, you just thinking,
about to get dark. The sun was going down, but it was light out.
Yeah, you thinking like, oh yeah, I'm about to leave. I'll pull out. You can pull in. But there's a parking spot right there, and he pulled off real slow. By the time I got to him, he like, where they at? I'm like, they're going. They kept going. They never parked, and that was just like, it was a scary feeling to think like, damn, like I almost got, like I don't carry a weapon, and just knowing that there are people, carjackings are increasing over the last couple years, and my baby got a brand new car, 2021. So as they were coming down a block and they seen me going to the car, I'm sure they seen me before I seen them. I say all that to say, just be careful. The streets is crazy. Just be careful.
Yes, definitely be careful. Women out there are looked at as prey, but I ain't never flexed on this show about nothing, but you touch my wife, you carjack my wife, like y'all ain't seen violence like this gonna come to some shit like that. Like I'm just saying, like, y'all got the wrong person here, and I've been quiet a long time, a lot of years, but Y'all do something to her, y'all carjack my wife and scare her like that or harm her in any type of way, y'all ain't seen violence that's coming. Like that's gonna come. Y'all just ain't seen it.
And I pray to God we never have to experience anything like that. I pray to God that any of y'all that are watching, your family members, never have to experience anything like that. It wasn't a good feeling, and nothing even really came to fruition. But just knowing that somebody was possibly looking at me like a target, it just was not a good feeling. So be careful in these streets, ladies. Watch your back. Don't be on. And again, I wasn't on my phone. My phone was in the car. Pay attention to your surroundings, to situations, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. Just pay attention.
3 grams. This first gram was like not something I care about, but it was something that I didn't fucking know, and it's like over already.
Oh, okay.
Stevie J files for divorce from Faith Evans. When the fuck were they married?
Wow. So yeah, they were married. I'm gonna say maybe 2 years. Maybe.
I don't watch the shows and shit like that, but I'm like scrolling, looking through it. I'm like, when did they get divorced? When the fuck did they get married?
So this was the thing, though. Like Stevie J and Biggie was real cool. Like Stevie J ran with Bad Boy back in the day doing production and stuff. Okay. So they were real cool. They had like this brother-sister relationship for years. And then it came about, it transpired, and they got... That sounds familiar. When I told y'all he was my brother, he told me don't say that.
I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying. That's why he don't have no fake sisters, because I was his sister. But anyway, I'm going to say time flies by so fast. I'm thinking, and COVID definitely made time, like, warp. I'm going to say maybe 3 years they've been married. No more than 5.
Yeah,
they got tattoos, I remember.
I don't have a lot to say. I just thought, like,
they had their hashtag, like the Jordans, because his last name is Jordan. Like, they had their hashtag tattooed on them or something crazy like that.
Yeah, that was just mind-boggling to me. I'm like, is this a typo? Like, do they mean, like, Faith? Another person?
Faith Evans.
Wow.
But I didn't see that, so wow, that's crazy.
This is why I like 3 grams, because it'd be just bold, crazy shit on Instagram. This a little bit more serious, though. Black man killed in 1898 in a race massacre was given a funeral. He laid in an unmarked grave for 123 years until the Third Person Project came and gave him a funeral. And back in Wilmington, North Carolina, back then, there was like a little area town where black people was thriving, and they had banks and stores and ownership of their neighborhood. And obviously white mob members, KKK, came down, killed them all. It was a couple hundred of them, like 300 of them, and burned down all the businesses. And there's some reports that the government was involved. But we're talking about the government of 1898. So I'm sure there was some involvement in taking down black people. But
so I have
it was like 200, almost 300 bodies. A lot of them they threw in the local swamp down in Wilmington, North Carolina. And a lot of the people back then, white racist people, wanted to bury black people on their private property, just to say they had a nigger buried on their property. So a lot of the bodies were buried on private property, on plantations and things like that. But good for his family, man.
So wait,
his name wasn't in there, but 123 years he was in an unmarked grave, and some people gave him a funeral.
So that's what I was gonna ask. Did they give him a funeral as part of this project, or were they able to identify him?
He wasn't. I didn't see his name, so I don't think he was identified. But I think they just gave him.
Okay, when you said good to his family,
they want people to lay in unmarked graves as John Does. I don't think that's kosher.
So when you mark it now, so they know his name, they just not telling us.
Right.
Okay. I was gonna say it's still unmarked if we don't know his name, but we don't know, but they know. Yeah, that's that. And it may sound like it was more than 100 years ago, but I'm sure somebody somewhere it gives some sort of closure.
It's the C word. Yeah. It's again, when somebody dies, the shit never goes away. So even if you tell a loved one, we were doing something for your loved one that died 80 years ago. They ain't felt I mean, come on.
And none
now.
of his family that knew him then is still alive,
Yeah.
but I'm sure that story has been passed down through generations.
Last gram. This is where the shit gets out of hand because this vaccination shit is getting out of hand. So there's a brothel in Austria who's giving out 30-minute vouchers for a free session with a lady of your choice for vaccination on the spot. So you get a blowjob and a prick in the arm, or you can get some sex and a prick in the arm.
Ow.
So they was giving out joints for vaccine. They was giving out Krispy Kreme donuts, free burgers.
Now you get
now they get blowjobs and coochie.
You get cootie
to
cat.
Get vaccine, babe.
You get cootie cat.
Come on, what's your thoughts on that?
This is Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, the world is going to hell. Like, that's my thought. The world.
A little bit with that.
Sodom and Gomorrah, the Bible story, we'll read it afterwards. But this is Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, the world is going to hell. It's the sexuality, it's crazy. Like, you think in Austria, sex is
brothels are legal.
Red light district is legal, so you think it's not like in the U.S. they're offering a prostitution gift certificate where it's illegal. But this is just
I think
crazy.
Nevada's gonna follow up with it because there's
at the Bunny Ranch.
Hookers are legal in Nevada on like a certain part of the strip where they got like the red.
But this just circles back to what we talked about. I'm sure of several episodes where y'all know he told me don't touch his leg. It's a habit. I'm trying to break it.
Jesus Christ!
Several episodes where you think like, how like I'm gonna twist this up a little bit. But, like, remember when 50 Cent said, how deep is your love if that's all it takes for you to be going? How strong is your stance if that's all it takes for you to get the shot? First of all, a 30-minute voucher?
We talking about men here. Let me tell you from the man perspective.
So you break your stance for some coochie.
Let me tell you from the man perspective. When you talking about a lady of your choice, we talking about men. And I'm going on the side of realism. We speak our truths here. I wouldn't. But I'm just telling you how men think. There's men out there that ain't getting blown, that ain't getting no coochie. And if you're going to get a 30-minute voucher with a lady of your choice, a legal lady, shit.
That is so foul.
Man, and my man from The Wire voice, shit.
That is so foul.
Yeah, there's some men out there going to be like, man, look. Roll me up. I want her right there. I'm taking 30 minutes. Give my ticket.
But you think there's like probably some provisions like there's probably some girls where there's a surcharge. Like you can't get her. Like we just got these girls you can pick from.
You ain't got no girls.
Yeah.
So you can pick a legal lady from what they got. Yeah.
That's bad.
It ain't gonna be a lady with a beard.
That's bad.
But
you know what I don't like that I saw? That they were, and I'm going to look it up and maybe we'll talk about it next time, but they were like promoting to kids that they would give them $100 if they got the vaccination. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you don't need to promote anything to nobody's child because I think in some schools they were offering an opportunity to get a vaccination. Now, if I'm a parent and my stance was, no, I don't want my child to get vaccinated, and you dangling this carrot of $100 in their face in school and they don't need parents' permission, and they come home and say, Mom, I got $100 to school, I got my vaccination. You talking about sue? It's going to be the D school district because we're going to own it. I am going to shut it down. Like, you can't be doing that to kids. That should be illegal. You cannot allow children. Now, I do know in the medical world, there are certain decisions like based on, abortions and stuff like that, like where children at a young age, I think it's 14, is it 12 or 14? I think it's 14. They can make those decisions by themselves. Mind blowing. But I don't agree with it. And I definitely don't agree that you should be marketing vaccinations to a child.
No, you shouldn't market it to a child. That's out of pocket.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're pushing it for kids now, but to do it without the parents' consent is total fucking violation. That's like
oh my God,
beat you down type shit.
That's like I mean, this might be pushing a little bit. Like you telling a Muslim child in school or something, like, you can eat this ham sandwich, that's okay.
Yep.
Like, you can't do that. You can't go against somebody's parents' ethics and morals for a child, a minor. If
But
that's
where
the
does it
case,
stop at though? Because like, say you sent your kid over his friend's house and the parents serve goat, or the parents serve raccoon soup, and you didn't know at the birthday party, and then you flip out like, y'all ate what?
but
They
I
fed
mean,
y'all what?
but
Like,
that
you can't
doesn't
feed
go
my
in-
baby goat?
but that doesn't go against, like, if you're Muslim, you don't eat pork. I think they eat goat.
But I'm just saying, you said you can't go against what parents want to do for their kids. Some
But
parents
no,
ain't giving their
ethics
kids.
and values and moral, like when it comes to vaccination and doing stuff. But raccoon, first I'm gonna be mad at my child. Like, you agreed to this? You ate raccoon.
That's Act 2 the Podcast, episode 44, wrapping up. Again, act2thepodcast.com. You can catch us on Breaker, Google Podcasts, Anchor, YouTube, and our clips are on IG. So check us out.
6 ways.
And again, we're going to put something up where we're going to ask maybe a couple days before the show, what's your beefs? What's your wows and woes? What's your mental status? We want to know that about our fans. We want to know that about y'all. Talk to y'all about it. So she gonna figure out a way to put that up before the show, so y'all can drop that in the box, the comments, whatever we gotta do. That's it. Act 2 the Podcast, episode 44. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace.
You like pulled me in.